In 1945, an engineer melted a chocolate bar in his pocket. No flames, no spark, just a quiet but certain transfer of energy. And that tiny melted mess revealed a strange connection between physics and food. The same tool that once changed the course of war now warms your leftovers from last night's dinner. But before we get to that discovery, we need to understand what really happens behind the radar technology. By the way, this is machines learning, and here we break down the world one machine at a time, and the physics is for the regulars. Let's dive in. To explain radar, we need to go back to 1864 when James Clerk Maxwell unified the concepts of electricity and magnetism as one. He called it electromagnetism. Before him, electricity and magnetism had been explored, measured, and argued over, but always separately. No one thought these two forces had anything to do with each other. Maxwell announced the electromagnetism theory of light. There is a lot going on in that theory, but to summarize, he said that if the speed of the electromagnetic wave is the same as the speed of light, then light cannot just be some separate phenomenon. Two different things can't just happen to travel at the exact same speed through the exact same space. So the only logical conclusion was, they must be the same thing. Light is an electromagnetic wave. It was Heinrich Hertz who proved Maxwell's theory, and his experiments made possible the invention of radio. Later, his name would become the standard unit to measure frequency, the Hertz. Many scientists took this concept of radio and they created amazing techniques and technology out of it. Among those came radar, which early concept came from the German inventor Christian Hülsmeyer. Radar stands for radio detection and ranging. The basics of how it works go as follows. The emitter sends out a blast of radio waves that travel through space at the speed of light. When radio waves hit something, especially metallic objects, part of them bounce back toward the radar. If the radar receives that returning signal, it knows something is there. Think of it as shouting in a dark, empty room. You shout, sound travels, it bounces on a wall, and echo returns. Radar is the same, but using radio, not sound. Using this analogy, if you know how long the echo traveled, you can calculate how far the wall is. We divide by 2 because the sound has to travel back and forth. So, how are these radio waves created in the first place? This is where the concept of electromagnetism I was explaining earlier comes to life. There is something called electrons. They are literally everywhere. They are the reason why we have electricity. They behave very differently in different contexts, but at a fundamental level, they can flow in a circuit. They can wiggle, they can spin, or they can go crazy. When they shake or wiggle, they continuously emit energy. That energy is the radio waves. If they shake slowly, that means low frequency. Low frequency equals long wavelength, which is the distance between one peak to another. High frequency then equals short wavelength. The first radar machines were huge. Their low frequency waves could travel very far, but they had poor resolution, meaning small objects couldn't be detected. They were useful but had a lot to improve, and that improvement came by courtesy of World War II, with the minds of two British physicists, John Randall and Harry Boot. They created this, the high-power cavity magnetron. This device has a lot going on inside. What should matter to you is that it makes electrons wiggle faster. When that happens, we get high-frequency waves. High frequency equals short wavelength. That brought to life the concept of a microwave. And with that, you could detect objects that are very small. Here's the kicker. The magnetron was about the size of a small book. Basically, it was something you could hold with the palm of your hand. Not exactly, but you get the idea. So, the British Army took that technology and placed it in ships and aircrafts to hunt enemy submarines during the war. A very curious detail, the British only shared this secret technology with the United States and Canada. After the war, Percy Spencer was working on a new magnetron for a radar when he noticed the chocolate bar in his pocket suddenly melted. Spencer was stunned. He didn't know what to make of it at first, but his engineer mind couldn't help but to wonder why. He wasn't gonna let his chocolate bar go to waste in vain. So he started thinking. He placed popcorn kernels next to the magnetron, and a few moments later, they popped all over the lab. Lastly, he used an egg to confirm his suspicion. The egg cooked so fast that it exploded. And so, Spencer had discovered a new way to cook food. Few years later, the company he was working for built the first commercial microwave oven, and through the years, that evolved until it became what we know today in our kitchen as this. So, if you want to know what exactly it is that a microwave does to your food, leave a comment below and subscribe to the channel. This is machines learning, and the physics is for the regulars. See you next time.